Alright, so good afternoon and welcome to today's class. My name is Excel, and as part of our preparatory class for the Ghana Teacher License exam, I'll be taking you through the general paper. Now, general paper is three-folded. So we have the part that is the essential skills. If you are to title according to the traditional exam that was recently reformed, then you have essential skills. You have a part of it that is literacy, and you have a part of it that is numeracy. So on today's general paper class, we shall be looking at a topic under numeracy titled probability. Now, probability, one common phenomenon in that we all had, or as part of the games that we used to play when we were growing up. We played a game called probability, but I will surprise you. You may not really realize you were playing a game that was actually probability. So let's say we are throwing a die, or guys, we're going to play a football match, and we want to know which side would be on the left side and which team would be on the right side. Now, the moment we are tossed between this and we want to decide, now the referee would come in and say, okay, so I have a coin here, and say for this coin there is a head and there is a tail. So if I toss the coin, which side that wins the head would go to maybe the right side, and the side that wins the tail would move to the other side. So by that simple game that we played all the time, we were practicing probability. So what then is probability? By probability, we are trying to say that what is the likelihood or the chance of something happening, the chance of you winning, the chance of you getting it on the right side. It is probability. So in a case of a head and tail, all the time in probability, we have two things that are always known. They are always definite. We know what the total result is likely to be. Now with this, we call it the total outcome. It is also called the sample space. So by this, we are trying to refer to all the possible outcomes, all the possible outcomes. So that could also mean all the possible results that may come out from the tool we are going to use to help in our decision making. That is, if it is a die we are tossing, or if it is a die we are throwing, or a coin we are tossing. Now, in a similar regard, we may also, having identified what the total result is, we need to also find out what the event itself is. So the next is the event. Now we have said that probability always tries to look at two things. Of the two things, we have the event, and then let me say the total events or outcomes or sample space, as you have explained. So then, what then is the event? When we say the event, what are we referring to? So the event is the exact thing in question. So the thing in question is the event. So what the question is trying to talk about is always the event. So what the question is talking about is always the event. Then all the possible events, when you bring them together, it then becomes the total, or the total outcome, or the total event, or the sample space. So by probability, in short, probability is always given by a very simple formula. Now the formula for probability simply is probability is equal to n of events, that is the number of events, over the n of the total events, or n of the total outcomes, or n sample space. So now n there simply means the number. So example, in the first, when we were beginning, I said that we are going to play a football match and we want to know which side would play from the left and which side would play from the right. Now the referee comes in with a coin and tosses the coin. Now, when the referee tosses the coin, the likelihoods we are chance to have is that either there will be a head or a tail. So when we say what is the probability that team A would win or would choose a head, that is now end of event. So end of event, how many times can there be a head? Now from this whole sample space, how many times can we find head? Head is appearing only once. In the same way, how many times can we find a tail? Tail is equally appearing only once. However, when we want to find the total here, we want the end of total. Then the number of total is one head and then one tail, which adds up to we get what? 2. So by probability of a head or a tail, we can say P of getting a head is equal to the n of heads over n of what? The total. So then probability of getting a head, because how many heads do we have in this tossing of the coin? We have only one head. What is the total number of events we had from this? We had one head and one tail. So the total number of events we saw in that case is what? 2. So then probability of getting a head in a case like this is what? 1 on 2. So let's take a different situation, a question, and let's see how best we can address it. Now we are going to toss a die. Now in the game of Ludo, see, we have a dice that we play with. Now the dice has, when you throw the die, you may have 1, you may have 2, you may have 3, you may have 4, you may have 5, or you may have 6. These are the possible outcomes that may come out when you throw the die. So then we call these ones the possible outcomes, and they are 6. However, in a question you may be asked that a fair die is thrown once. Now if the fair die is thrown once, now the question is, what is the probability that after the die was thrown, the person who threw the die would get the number 3? So then we say probability of getting a 3 is equal to n, the number of 3s that we have, so n of events over n of what? The total. So then we now come to the die. We first list the possible outcomes, but these ones have been listed here, so I wouldn't spend time in listing them again. How many 3s do we have in the possible outcomes? We have only 1 3. And what is the total number of outcomes that we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 possible outcomes. So then probability of getting a 3 when you throw a die once is what? 1 out of 6. I'm sure it's very clear and very simple. So many a time when you ask questions on probability, you are expected to always put it in the simplest form. So always leave your answer in the simplest form. However, for this question, the answer you are getting is 1 out of 6. You can't further divide it into any simpler form because there is no number that can divide 1 and 6. However, in the event in our attempt to solve this, we got an answer, say 24 on 48. Then we could have simplified this in that we look for a number that is divisible by both 24 and 48. So one number can divide 24 and 48. So let me start with 2. And numbers, a lot of numbers can do that, but let me start with 2. So 2 goes here, 12. 2 goes here, 24. Now 2 goes here, 6. 2 goes here, 12. Now 2 goes here, 3. 2 goes here, 6. Now you have 3 on 6. Can 2 go into 3? No. So next number 3. Can 3 go into 3? Yes. Can 3 go into 6? Yes. So 3 goes into this one. 3 goes here, 2. So then our final answer then becomes 1 out of 2. By this, we have simplified the answer, and this is the best answer we expected to give all the time. Now, here are a few more questions for you to try. Now, this says that a bag contains 5 red marbles. Now, the bag contains, so the red we have 5. Then, it also has 3 blue marbles. What is the probability of drawing a blue marble? So if you are to dig your hand into the bag and pick a marble, what is the probability that you pick a blue marble? So then let's answer this question. So we have probability of blue marble. So then we have n of blue marbles all over n of the total marbles. So let me continue here. So P into bracket blue, I'm shortening it due to lack of space. Now, how many blue marbles do we have? We have 3. How many total marbles do we have? We have 5 and 3. So that is what? 8. So probability of getting a blue marble is 3 on 8. Now, as I said, before you conclude there's your final answer, you need to ask yourself, is there a number that can divide 3 and 8? Of course, there isn't any number. So then we conclude by saying that 3 on 8 is our final answer. So you come to the alternatives and you have A. So that is our correct response to the question. Alright, so let's try the next question. In a bag, there are 8 green balls. So for green, we have 8. And 4 yellow balls. Yellow, we have 4. If one ball is drawn at random, what is the probability of getting a green ball? So that's a very simple question. So probability of getting a green ball, P of green is equal to the number of greens over the number of what? Total. Now, how many green balls do we have? 8. How many total? What is the total number of balls we have? We have 12. So then, what number can divide 8 and divide 12? So 2 goes here, 4, and 2 goes here, 6. What number can divide 4 and 6? 2 goes here, 2, and 2 goes here, 3. Is there a number that can divide 3 and 2? No. So then our final answer is what? 2 on 3. So the probability of picking a green ball is 2 on 3. Now we come to our options. Option B, we have it there. Now a box contains 10 chocolates. So here the question has given us the total. The end of the total is 10, of which 2 are dark. So n of the dark ones, we have 2, and 8 are milk chocolates. So n of milk, we have what? 8. What is the probability of choosing at random a dark chocolate? So probability of getting a dark chocolate is equal to the n of darks over n of the total. How many dark chocolates did we see? We saw 2. How many total? 10. So 2 on 10 simplified as 1 out of 5. So let's come to our options and see, do you have 1 out of 5 in there? No, strangely. Oh, I think it's a typo. It's a typo. This is supposed to be 1 out of 5. Let me correct it. So the option A, ideally supposed to be 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5. So that's it. Alright, so next question. A jack contains 30 red marbles and 20 blue marbles. What is the probability of choosing at random a red marble? Choosing at random a red marble. So let me simplify this. So P of red equals n of red over n of the total. How many reds do we have? 30. Total we have 50. So 10 goes here 3 times, 10 goes here 5 times. So we have 3 on 5. We have 3 on 5 here. A spina has 4 equal sectors. So 4 sectors, that is the total. Red, blue, green, and yellow. So n of green is 1, n of red is 1, n of blue is 1, and n of yellow is 1. Probability of landing on a blue. So probability of landing on a blue, P of blue equals n of blue over n of the total, and that is 1 out of 4. So you have 1 out of 4. A bag contains 6 white marbles. So white we have 6 and 4 black marbles. If one is drawn at random, probability of picking a black. So black is 4 on 10, and that is 2 on 5. So 2 on 5 is here. Alright, so this is how probability questions would basically be. In the next 9 slides, you have questions that I expect you to try your hands on and drop the answers to the page. Aside that too, I will drop a number of questions to the page, which I expect you to be able to answer them and submit them for vetting or review. So next question is here. 25 students, 15 boys, 10 girls, probability of picking a girl, which would of course be 10 on 25. You simplify the answer and you have it there. So I'll send a PDF shortly to the page so you can have the questions in there. The video ends shortly, so let's go through it and then stay blessed. Thank you very much for your time. God be with you.